So, jomlah kita mulakan video. Kali ni aku akan membuat satu reaction. So, hari ni aku akan buat reaction tentang video Scary Story Animated. Tu kan nama dia? Aku rasa tu lah. Macam dalam tajuk di bawah. So, itulah video yang aku akan buat hari ni. So, jom kita pergi ke video tersebut. Sekarang kita akan mulakan kita reaction. So, aku akan sekarang ni sila ambil bantal korang. Kemungkinan cerita ni mungkin agak seram. Tapi aku tak mau patung aku pada ke rumah, baby. Kenapa kau ke rumah? Tak apa. Aku betapa. Ini korang. Aku betapa. Okay, so jom kita mulakan video kita sekarang. So, okay, cakap. Tajuk dia, my mom disappeared and I ate lunch meat. Mak saya hilang dan saya makan daging yang aneh. Kasih Melayu lagi korang.
I don't know what to do. It all started 3 weeks ago. My mom disappeared. She was at home in the morning, nothing different. She hugged me, saying goodbye, wished me luck with school, and gave me a packed lunch. And when I got home that evening, she wasn't there. She didn't come back.
Kenapa?
So we called the police and...
Adakah daging itu daging mak dia? Adakah?
All of the search was set up. The whole town came together and held a giant search party, lasting through the night, but there was no sign of her at all.
Don't cry.
She had just completely vanished. The weeks since were hell for both me and my dad. Rumors started spreading through town, and particularly around the school, that my mom had been murdered.
Okay. Like, sekejap, suara dia pelan gila sekarang, aku akan sikit. Okay, macam biasa, masalah ada orang belakang akan. So, tak apa, kita akan teruskan.
Dad took things a lot worse than I did. He was a carpenter, so it wasn't unusual behavior for him to disappear into the garage for a long time, to work on a chair or table or something. Especially, it was what he always did when he was stressed. I figured that's just how he was dealing with the grief. We barely spoke over the next couple.
Isteri dia hilang dan dia duduk dekat dalam garaj sebab dia akan hilang kasih kat dalam tu. Apa yang dia buat dalam garaj? Terpelang. Mungkin banyak orang buat untuk hilangkan stres.
Weeks. He was locked in there from sunrise to midnight. And we might bump into each other at one point, but he'd just say good night and went to bed. Sure, it was a bit weird, but I understood that he was going through a lot. But the longer he spent in there, the less I was sure he was doing woodwork. There were large bottles of bleach popping up in our bins.
Bapak minum benda tu ke? Atau bapak pernah bersihkan bilik? Tapi kita akan cek. Kalau saya jadi anak dia, saya akan cek dan saya akan menungkaikan kenapa bapak dia macam tu. Teruskan.
And Dad barely took any break. One night, I had waited for him to go to sleep, and I crept down to try to open the door. But it was locked tight, and Dad always had the key. But today, when I came home from school, he was in the kitchen. Freshly shaved, showered, had a rested face. He was totally different from what he'd been for the last couple of weeks. He was cooking. My dad used to love grilling, and his steaks were always amazingly delicious. So it was a nice change, since I fed myself only pot noodles and soup for a few weeks. He set down 2 of the biggest, bloodiest steaks I had ever seen in my life. But it looked kind of different. Not bad, but just different. Dad tucked into a steak straight away, and I did too. It was a bit tough to chew, but the seasoning and flavors tasted just as good as the rest of the steaks were. We had finished pretty soon, and I was feeling full and satisfied. Then Dad said something I can't stop thinking about. I doubt they'll ever find her body. His voice didn't sound sad or depressed. I didn't say anything, just stared at him. Hearing what he said sent shivers down my spine. Then I thought of the steaks. The late nights in the garage, hundreds of bleach bottles, and my dad's weird behavior. Did he feed me her body? Or am I just overthinking it? What do I do?
Sekejap, maksudnya yang daging dia makan tadi tu ialah daging mak dia. Wow. I say like wow and wow and wow again. So we back. So next video is I saw something, an unbelievable creature. Saya nampak satu creature yang sangat tertentu macam ni, unique, unbelievable. Jom kita melihat.
When I was 16, my parents, brother, and I were living in an apartment on the 4th floor. Every night, we heard crazy laughing outside of our house. At first, we just thought it could have been a neighbor taking care of a sick person, so we didn't worry about it. Then one night, I heard laughing again. It was 11 p.m., and everyone in my house...
11 p.m, you heard something like ketawa-ketawa macam tu. Percayalah, itu bukan orang. Tapi kalau ada orang buat sleepover di sebelah rumah kau. Bayangkan, sekarang dah 11 p.m. dan tiba-tiba kau dengar di sebelah rumah kau. Mungkin tengok IG ke mungkin
was sleeping. I got out of bed and looked out the window, and I saw nothing. And as soon as I looked out the window, the laughing stopped. It was kind of weird, but anyway, I just went back into bed and slept. After that, I had to use the bathroom at 4:30 a.m. The bathroom was downstairs in the hall, and the bathroom window was facing a big field of grass and a parking lot. After I finished using the bathroom and washed my hands, I heard that crazy loud laugh again for about a whole 30 seconds. It sounded like this person didn't even get tired. He seemed that he needed to catch his breath from this
apa yang lawak sangat tu? Oi, gelak macam nak pecah perut.
loud and long laughing. I proceeded to look out the window again, and then I saw a group of about 5 dogs going crazy around something. And when the dogs moved, I absolutely felt fear. There was something, another dog. I think it was a dog. It had a dog body and paws, but not a dog face. It had a human face, and it was staring at me. It looked at me for a
minute. You look at this like a cat and with the face of woman. What do you think if you apa jadi kalau kita jumpa orang macam ni tapi ada muka kita? Oh my god, it's creepy. Kau pergi tandas, kau keluar dari tandas, kau nampak anjing. Lepas kau nampak anjing tu, tiba kita tengok anjing tu muka dia macam mati jeran sebelah muka kita.
minute and then started to slowly smile and then laughed again, and that was the same voice that I've heard constantly. I ran to my room, but I couldn't go back to sleep. The next morning, I told my parents and brother what had happened, and they thought I had a nightmare. I said that I swear it wasn't a nightmare, but they didn't believe me. They just laughed and ignored it. Everything felt real. I know it was 100% real. But the next few days went by, and I didn't hear anything. and one day it was getting quite dark outside. I did end up getting a cold from swimming, so my parents and brother went out grocery shopping without me. It was 9 p.m., and I took my dog for a walk for a little while.
And their dog
There was an abandoned house down the block, and my dog took off running to a bush suddenly. It was like something caught his attention. I ran after my dog, and literally I had to crawl under a fence to go and get him. When I finished crawling under the fence, I ended up cutting my knee. But thankfully, I got my dog, and when I looked up, there that thing was. That dog with a human face. We were face to face. It had glowing green eyes, and it had definitely human face features, and the head was bald. I screamed, and it just started that scary laughing again. I ran away with my dog and came back home. Well, I'm 18 now, and my family and I moved away to another place. I don't know what the heck that thing was, and why I've seen it twice. But I'm just glad that I don't see it anymore.
Adakah anjing tu akan menjadi muka manusia juga? Kenapa anjing tu gelak macam tu? Sekejap. Wait a minute. Sekejap. Kenapa anjing tu senyum? Kenapa kalau manusia mesti fikir, kalau kita cakap, wah, anjing sangat comel, dia senyum kat aku. Wah. Something's wrong. Oh my god. Something is wrong. Ya, kenapa anjing tu senyum macam tu? Next. Someone tried to break into my house several times. Ada orang cuba untuk masuk rumah tu banyak. Rumah saya, bukan rumah saya, rumah dia. Banyak kali. Several times, banyak kali. Banyak kali. So let's go watching.
I recently moved out to attend university in a different town, so I rented a flat where I live alone. Every morning, I took my bicycle, which I keep in the basement of my building, and went to my lectures. Usually, the neighborhood is quiet, but one night around 1 o'clock a.m., my door phone rang. This was unusual, but I brushed it off as a mistake from someone who got drunk. It rang again, but I kept ignoring it. This happened at least 3 different times, so it began to annoy me. One day, I returned from my lecture and found a bus ticket placed on my door handle. This ticket was from a bus in my hometown, and it appeared to be mine, as the bus number on it was the bus that I frequently used. At this moment, I started to get concerned that someone was pranking me. That same night, I kept my front window a bit open to keep an eye on the entrance. I live on the 2nd floor, so it's too high for anyone to climb. I shut the lights and waited. And at that moment, the door phone rang again. This time, I checked through the window and there was a shadowy figure of a man. He waited for about 5 minutes and then left. I considered calling the police, but I had nothing to report besides a strange man ringing my door phone late at night, so I soon ignored it. But what happened some days after almost made me go crazy. It was around 3 a.m. and the door phone rang again. By this time though, I heard the front door shut. Someone must have forgotten to lock it, so I assumed that the man was now inside the building. Terrified, I went to the kitchen and grabbed the biggest knife I had. Then I stood behind the front door and waited. The doorbell rang. I think my stomach dropped at that point. He rang again and then knocked strongly. I stayed frozen for an eternity until I couldn't hear anything. I was relieved and went to sleep after a while, which in hindsight was very stupid, as I should have made sure that the man had left the building. The following morning, as I was leaving for my lecture, I noticed some scratches near the front door's handle, as if someone had tried to mess with the lock. I immediately went to my landlord, who lives right above me, and explained everything that had been going on. He reassured me that everything would be fine. So I went to get my bike, but as I walked towards the basement door, I noticed that the lock was broken. I finally understood. The man from last night must have hidden in there. I hadn't heard the front door shut again yesterday, So that must have meant that the man was still here. I ran upstairs again and told my landlord. He got angry, grabbed a bat, and went to check. All I could hear was struggling noises as my landlord beat that man senseless. We then called the police, who arrived a few moments later and arrested him. I still remember his face to this day, as he looked straight at me silently. It turned out that this man had been following me for days and was trying to rob my house. He had done the same thing to other people in the past. I don't know what happened to him afterwards, but I assume he is in prison. I am forever grateful to my landlord for being so brave. We replaced the locks on every door, so now I feel safer. Well, I would have forgotten about this if I didn't open my mailbox recently and find another bus ticket.
Wait a minute.
My name is...
Why everyone like to give some bus ticket? Ya, kalau kau ialah perompak, kau kasih bus ticket kepada tu ke? Kalau korang tahu kenapa orang kasih bus ticket, korang boleh komen di bawah. Kalau kau nak diinfo lah. So, next. Sekejap, apa tajuk dia? Okay, aku rasa inilah yang terakhir.
I would have
Jika korang nak tengok video lebih lagi, jangan lupa like, subscribe and comment. Dan jangan lupa juga tekan butang lonceng di bawah untuk melihat video saya yang lebih lanjut. Dan saya akan bersambung dengan video Scary Story Animated for next time. Tada!